Ulonka tabati yada tó yẹ kó máa da ifá. Inú tó yẹ kó jẹun, lọ́ fi bí pa. Ọba tálá, ọba takuntakun. Ṣàngó, Èṣù, Ògún, Ọya, Ọ̀ṣun. Ìwọ ló ń bọ̀ nílé. Kí ni ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ tán ṣe nílé yìí o? Ó jẹ́ lọ jára rẹ̀.
Alafia, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Welcome to another episode of the African Spirituality Experience. I am your host, Aurius Bemi, and today I have on a very special, very powerful guest. I have on none other than the master teacher, master healer, Baba Astarius Miraculii. Baba Astarius Miraculii is a world-renowned profound healer. He's someone who is here to help us to remember our grandest self, our greatest self, and to also become the best version that we could possibly be within the universe and the expressions of the universe within us. He is a master healer, he is a master teacher, and he is one of the most powerful beings I've ever crossed paths with. With that, welcome to the program. Welcome to the African Spirituality Experience. I appreciate you taking the time to join us. How you doing today?
Yeah, I am blessed, and it's an honor to share this sacred space with you and all of the beloveds who are tuning in. And I'm excited about the magic that's going to unfold in the experience, because by the grace of the Most High, it always happens.
Ashe, and that is a fact without a doubt. I want to give you the floor to do what you so eloquently are accustomed to doing, and that's kind of like opening it up with us, with a prayer or with how you see fit to open and and then from there, I'll kind of jump in, and then we can get it going and get it flowing.
Absolutely.
Ashe.
In the name of the mystic Son, I am that I am. We call you, divine creator, out of the vastness of the universe and out of the depths of our heart. Blaze the power of the Holy Spirit, the ancestors, the ascended host, angels, and ascended masters. Every being of light, love, and ascension. We also call forth the elder versions of who we are, every elevated expression of selfhood that exists for us in the universe, multiverse, calling forth these elder vibrations and elder consciousnesses to be a quickening force to elevate the frequency of this three-dimensional moment, that this, our three-dimensional moment, would be elevated into the fifth dimensional embrace and beyond. We are so infinitely grateful for this now moment. And we thank you, Creator Source, in advance for monumental transformation and blessedness unto ourselves, as well as every being in the whole of existence, all the way down the corridors of eternity. So it is, was, and shall remain ad infinitum. A man, a woman, a god, a goddess, we be absolute reality. So it is, and blessed be.
Ashe. Yes, sir. And I appreciate that. Thank you. And listen, I'm gonna jump right in. So I've been hearing about you. I've been hearing stories about you. I've been hearing phenomenal details about you and the work that you've done. And for me, I knew that everything that I was hearing wasn't exaggerated. I knew that it wasn't like some sort of far-fetched, imaginary tale, because I just knew the source from which I was getting the information. I know the work that they do, and I know the profound, powerful gifts that this particular person has, and you are and has and do play an intricate role in, I think, molding and harnessing this particular gift and this particular healer. And that healer that I'm referring to is one of our previous guests, a good friend, my personal healer, one of them. And then also, I believe, a mentee of you, and that would be the lovely Miss Millie Cruz Reynoso. She's been telling me about you for a while, and we got to cross paths at the Lionsgate portal on 8/8 of this year at the healing circle that she had. And I was amazed, man. I was amazed, and I was like, yep, everything she said, it was what it was, and it is what it is. And it was an honor and a pleasure to be there to, receive not only your words of wisdom, but also your healing with your spirit, with your words, and with your music, with your sound. So with that, can you kind of share a little bit, with us about how you even got on your journey, or how you got to where you are now?
Well, we're going back to Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
and Mama threw me out of the house at age 16, and I took to the streets and pretty much lived on the streets for about 3 years until I learned how to take care of myself. And all of my role models were pimps and hoes and gangsters and thieves and con men and con women. And there was rampant drug addiction where I grew up, drive-by shootings. I had 3 friends that were murdered right on the corner where the car drive by and just shoot into the crowd. So there was a lot of treachery that I grew up in. And at that particular time, that's all I knew. And I came to be a part of that treachery for the 6 years from age 16 until 22. And I turned 22 and the light came on. And the only thing that happened in an external sense that facilitated that was I fell in love, and I was pissed with myself because I didn't want to feel that way about anybody. But it was the Most High's plan for me. I had to be brought to a place of universal love where I love every being in all existence. And I was coming from a very hateful place. So I couldn't come straight from there to universal love. So I had to come by way of human love to care that much about another individual. And so then that opened the doors. The next thing I know, it just the spiritual light came on, and that was age 22, and that's been quite some time ago. And I have never looked back since. My first modality of healing was healing with breath, pranayama, of breath, and I would hold a person's hand and on the exhale transmit energy, into them that way. And that's was one of the things that I discovered early on. And I also discovered early on that I was able to transmit healing frequency at great distances. If the person could be on the other side of the world, and I could transmit healing energy through a particular breath. I call it a laser breath, where the windpipe closes a little bit so that the air has sort of like air being pressed through a tube, and it would create a laser breath frequency, and people could feel physically, that which I was transmitting, and then my first divination modality is astrology, became a professional astrologer, right about 29 years old, something like that. And then the sound frequency, came in age 44 with the didgeridoo and vocal harmonics. I was always chanting and praying and doing a little bit with the drums. When the didgeridoo came in, it was like really a major, major energy. And then the vocal harmonics. Matter of fact, I'm going to offer a vocal harmonic right now with the intention of really quickening the expansion of everybody who's tuning into this. And, I invite you who's tuning in to place your prayers and place your intentions, on the wings of these tones. So here we go. So sound carrier waves of consciousness. The tones that I just brought forth are elders. They don't live in the three-dimensional realm. Those tones are fifth dimensional and beyond. And they have the assignment, as many sound frequencies do, to come into the earth sphere and be a catalyst for our awakening and remembering who we are. Those were waves of consciousness. You know, there's intelligence and awareness within those sounds. And we see that sound has become a big thing. You know, people working with crystal bowls and working with gongs and working with tuning forks and the drum and everything. So it's been a real big experience around sound. And one of the things that's so powerful about sound is it has a foot in the spiritual domain while simultaneously having a foot in the physical domain. It's of the spirit because you can't grab a handful of sound. It's of the physical in the sense that you can hear it with the physical ear. So when I started playing the didgeridoo in 1995, I've been playing for about a year. And I was at a friend's house who was a beekeeper. This was in Santa Fe, New Mexico, which is where I was living when the didgeridoo first came to me. And I was with my beloved at that time. We were sitting by the beehives, and the bees were going and coming from the hives. And I stood behind her playing the didgeridoo into her back. And then a dialogue between the Most High and myself started. Spirit spoke to me from within, called my name, says Astarius. I responded internally. I said, yes, not with words with the mouth, but internally in my mind. I said, yes. And I'm still playing on her. And Spirit says, you're from the clan of the trumpet angels. And a light went off in every cell of my being. And I had this instantaneous realization of why I had had such a powerful experience with the didgeridoo at that time, playing for just a year. And so from that time, I was excited to tell her what I got. Okay, so I didn't stop playing on her right away. But at the point when I did stop, before I could tell her what I had gotten, she looks at me and she says, oh my God, I just seen the biggest angel deva I've ever seen. So the Most High gave me the message in two different ways. Let me hear clairaudiently that I'm from the clan of the trumpet angels, and clairvoyantly showed her the angel. And so over the years, like all the things that I do with sound, like what I just did with the vocal harmonics, you know, it's my clan. The clan of the trumpet angels have taught me that. And they taught me that the didgeridoo, and maybe at some point I'll play it, you know, because some people may not know what a didgeridoo even is. But they taught me that the didgeridoo is not that long tube that the sound comes through. The didgeridoo is actually the sound that comes through. And that tube is its embodiment. It's the means by which it achieved incarnation in order to be able to produce sound in the physical domain, because these sounds existed before physicality. So it is with guitar. Guitar is not the thing that one plucks on. Guitar is the sound emanating from it. And what's plucked on is its embodiment. It's the means by which it achieves incarnation. And so it is with all of the different musical instruments. And my clan, the clan of the trumpet angels, are the keepers of all of those sacred sounds, you know, even before physicality and before there was the need for a material instrument to produce the sound. So that's, you know, kind of like the journey, you know, with the sound. And, you know, the sound goes directly into the body, and because it's intelligent, it has a way of seeking out areas of the body that may be in need. I remember one time I was playing the didgeridoo with a particular woman, and I was predominantly hanging out, in the upper part, of her body, around her head and that type of thing. And when we were done, she said, "You know what, man?" She said, "I didn't tell you, but I had all this pain in my feet." She said, and all that pain is gone. And said, "You never even went down. You never even went down by my feet." So,
Right.
the sound is intelligent, and it has a way of finding the places of need. And it also has a way, it's not always about a physical healing. People are far more in need of a mental and emotional healing a lot of the times than they are in need of physical healing.
Mm-hmm.
So, it can be a quickening of consciousness. I've played and people come into elevated awareness of who they are, or sometimes they drop into a deeper place of loving themselves, because that's one of the things that people tend to struggle with is loving self. People will have this prerequisite, I'll love myself if I do this and I do that and I achieve this and I create that. And that's not how the Most High loves us. The Most High loves us with an infinite love and validates us with an infinite validation by virtue of one fact, and that is that we are. So we're loved and validated because of our being, not our doing, achieving, and creating. I mean, any one of us could say, I'm going on strike, and I'm not going to do, achieve, or create another thing until further notice. And the love and the validation of the Most High would never waver. Which is really, that's the Most High covering the Most High's own sacred ass, because it's like we are the Most High by microcosmic extension. Saying if God is not taking care of us, God is not taking care of God's own self. And so it is with the way that we engage with each other. The way that I engage with the drop is the way that I am engaging with the ocean. What I do unto the drop, I'm doing unto the ocean. If I'm unkind and negative toward a brother or a sister, then that extends out into the whole universe, even the multiverse, So in terms of love, one can come into the grace and ease of loving self when there's the realization of the fact that I don't do love, love does me. You don't do love, love does you. Love is a quality of the Most High. Therefore, love is co-eternal with the Most High. So there's never a time when love is not doing what love does, when it isn't about the business of love. So love never left the building. Our awareness and focus upon love can leave, and then we can be in the illusion that we don't have love. While in that same moment where we're giving all of our attention to self-loathing, self-hatred, or the absence of self-love, in that same moment, there's this greater expanse of who we are, standing in the circle of eternity, remembering the eternal love that we have for ourselves, while another part of us is trapped in the nightmare of the earth dream. So what makes love easy is you don't do love, love does you. And therefore, if you let love have its way with you, and it becomes effortless then. And also, if I let love love me, I'm in my power, because if I allow something to play upon me, there's a power in my allowing. See, and that's what we want to know. We have the power to allow something or not to allow it. The power to say the sacred no rather than the unsacred yes. The power to decide who we're going to let be up close and personal with us. So when I say I let love love me, I'm allowing love, and which love is very gracious and delighted to do, because we're wired for love. We all are. So, a lot of times in working with sound, people drop into a more expanded experience of love, of self, and love of others.
Ashe. Nah, look, I love the answer. I love the answer. And there's so many different ways I can go with that. But what I want to do is, for one, not be selfish, because I do have my own personal questions. But I do want to ask this question because I know it's something that came up recently on a previous episode that just aired on the channel. And it was, how do you travel, to different dimensions, or how do you astral project, or just kind of like go within the universe, or get out of your body in regards to, being able to travel, whether it's through your mind, your third eye, or through your spirit. And Baba Karaday and I answered the question, but I would love to hear your answer to that question.
Well, first of all, there's many levels of travel, not just, astral projection, where the spirit projects out of the body and you go different places, like I've had that happen spontaneously, with me. And interestingly enough, usually what happens is my whole body seems to turn upside down and I go out of my body feet first upward. It's really strange, and then I'm aware that I'm aware of the room where I'm at, and where my body's laying in the bed. And then the first thing that I love to do, my favorite thing, is to pass through the walls. That's because when and this is like lucid dreaming, but lucid dreaming has some correlation with astral traveling, because when you're in a lucid dream, you wake up in the dream and you're consciously aware of the fact that you're dreaming and can direct the course of the dream. So in the lucid dream state, we're like very, very close to the elevated consciousness of Creator Source. That's why when I was in that state, I just passed right through the walls. And there's no question that I could do that. And then the next thing after I passed through the walls, I would fly. Like I know what a bird feels like, because I've flown in the actuality of my being, through the lucid dream. And then I would do like a dive bomb, so to speak. Like, if you ever see a bird coming down like really, really fast, and then just when I get ready to hit the ground, I swing up.
Wow.
I'm also in the awareness that I can't be hurt in that state. Some have become masterful enough where they travel into other dimensions and so forth, with that. And all of that is available to any of us. And one of the ways in which we get to those more advanced stages of being able to travel is by recognizing the subtle stages of travel. Like a lot of times your intuition becomes like a time machine, so to speak. Many times an awareness will come in intuition. Something that happened to me just earlier, which we could call this a travel. I was with a client earlier, and I was doing some transmissions, some healing transmissions with him. And then I was doing some vocal harmonics, and I was drinking my water. And then all of a sudden I had the the guidance, and it was really my intuition speaking to me. I've never done it before. And I just started going. You hear the amplification? And it was a co-creation between he and I, because I've never done that before. But what's more than just the amplification of the sound through toning into this bottle is the fact that there's water in there, and water is a conductor of frequency. So that was a major discovery. That was a kind of a traveling, in the sense that that message, I feel, came to me from another version of me in a completely different place. I mean, if you take a moment, for example, and you envision your living room in your house. Now, you're not physically there, and yet when you envision it, you're able to see your living room. You're able to see everything that's there. Is it not so that you've journeyed to the living room in your house?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that there's many, many different levels by which we travel. Like a lot of times we'll think of some amazing thing that happened to us in the past. And the next thing you know, the visualization of that amazing thing comes in. And then what we felt, especially if it was kind of juicy, then, all the feelings begin to come and animate the body. So we've traveled back in time then. You see, and we reactivate something from the past. And people do it all the time with trauma. They remember something that was traumatic that happened 20 years ago. And if they focus on it, intensely enough, they start feeling the pain as badly as they did back during the moment of the trauma.
Mm-hmm.
That too is a traveling that happens. And so when I, for instance, say I want to be at oneness with my all-dimensional ascended self, see, that's me. And all realities are simultaneous.
Mm.
The distinction is all realities are not simultaneously activated.
Mm.
Today, tomorrow, and yesterday are simultaneous realities. Each one is a focalization of the great now. See, we're in the resonance of today, but overriding that is we're in the now. We're in this now reality of today. When we were in the embrace of yesterday, we were in the now reality of yesterday. And yesterday was in a state of activation when we were dancing with yesterday. And when we reach tomorrow, it comes into activation. And yet each one, today, tomorrow, and yesterday, is a version of now.
Mm. Mm.
See, and there's no such thing as then. Because the moment that you reach then, you're what? You're now.
Mm.
See, the then is something that creates separation.
Yes.
The then and the there.
Mm.
There's no then and there. There's here and now.
Yes. Yes, sir. Listen.
So the power is being where you're going before you get there.
Mm.
That's one of the greatest mysteries of all, is that we really don't have to go anywhere.
Mm.
See, even when a person journeys outside of their body and there's the actual projection of the inner body from the physical body, all of that is still taking place in the inner sanctum of one's own being. See, and so traveling is about being where you're going before you get there, because you don't really have to go anywhere. You just shift frequency. Like if you have a radio, you don't have to go anywhere to turn the dial from one channel on the radio to another. And that radio is positioned in one location. And yet it's an access code to maybe 300-400 channels.
Mm.
And when you think about simultaneous realities, that's another analogy that helps to bring that home. Like you have all these channels of reality, all these channels that represent multiple versions of who you are, multiple versions of experience throughout life, the universe, the multiverse, different sectors along eternity, all existing simultaneously, but again, not simultaneously activated. Just like the channel that's activated is the one you tune to.
Mm.
And you didn't have to manufacture what's on that channel. It was already there. Just like if you want to be a billionaire, you don't have to manufacture that reality. There's a version of reality where you're already that. So it's a matter of turning the dial of your awareness to that version of your reality where you're that billionaire, or that version of reality where you seamlessly create everything that you want to create. That version of reality where you're in the most delicious, fulfilling relationship. It's all there. And any blessing that emerges in any of our lives is always a blessing that emerges from within. See, that's the only place your blessings can come from. That's the only place that any of the manifestations and the blessings, they don't come from somewhere out there. They all emerge from in here. That being so, whatever it is that you're wanting, whatever it is that you're intending is already yours. It's just a formless embryo in the womb of your soul. And then when it actualizes in an external sense, then that's the outward birth of that formless embryo that was originally in the womb of your soul or in the womb of the universe. That's what a quantum field is. It's a great womb of infinite possibilities.
Mm.
And every reality that will ever come to be in outer actuality is alive and well as a wave of possibility in the womb of the universe, aka the quantum field.
Mm. Yes, sir. Yeah, now that's powerful. And you know what? I want to ask another question that a guest asked, I want to say yesterday in one of the comments on a previous video, but the question was, what is the difference between our spirits and our souls?
Well, spirit is all-inclusive, and soul is more exclusive.
Mm.
See, our soul is a vehicle of the individualization of our being.
Mm.
And at the same time, spirit and soul are one.
They dance.
Just like man, woman, and God, the Most High, are one. So spirit is more like a representation of the all-inclusiveness of the Most High. The all-inclusiveness of being. Soul is like the individualization of being. The way that spirit microcosmically individualizes itself. See, soul is like our individuality. Spirit is our unividuality, universal selfhood. And then, of course, there's even more. I mean, those those terms carry so much data and information, like within both the spirit and soul is total enlightenment, is cosmic consciousness, is the knowledge of everything that is, was, or ever will be.
Mm.
Because spirit is also that grand awareness.
Mm.
And that awareness that expresses through the quantum field of infinite possibilities. See, and each one of us, like you, Andre, you are an unduplicatable blessing unto Creator Source, because Creator Source gets something from you that Creator Source can only get from you.
Mm.
And knowing that will really skyrocket your self-esteem. When you know, oh my God, I'm a blessing unto Creator, the likes of which Creator can't get from anywhere else. And that's true for each one of us. And that's the value that we hold for Creator, because Creator gets to have an individualized experience that is totally unique. And what a smorgasbord the Most High has in terms of beingness.
Listen, I didn't want to interrupt, but I wanted to share just a couple things in regards to what you're saying. Everything that you're saying, as you're saying, you're breaking it down, the soul and the spirit, it brought me right back to your water analogy, because I equated it to being the ocean as being universal, prime creator of source, the grand, scheme of spirit, the grand unified theory of spirit, and then the raindrop being the universal soul of the individual, or I should say the individual soul. You know what I mean? So what's the difference between the raindrop and the ocean? There is no difference. It's just a matter.
Same thing.
Yeah. So that
really correlates,
Yes, sir. And two, another thing that crossed my mind is that I saw a clip, I want to say like 2 days ago, and it was the artist 50 Cent. He was sharing about how the value of water increases or decreases depending on where it's at. So he was like, if you bought a bottle of water, at a corner store, it might be like $1 or $2. If you bought that same bottle of water in the airport, it might be like $3 or $4. But if you bought that same bottle of water on a plane, it might be like $7, $8. So the water remains the same, but depending on its environment is dependent upon the value of how that perceived value of that water is. And that kind of reminds me of what everything you were saying, and based off of how we should be appreciative of our connection and the blessing that the Creator has blessed us with, being the unique individuals that we are. So that kind of crossed my mind as you were saying that as well.
Absolutely. So, beloveds, all in who's tuned in here, focus upon your highest prayers and intentions. Okay, thank God, Goddess Almighty for the didgeridoo.
Yes, sir. Listen,
Did that come through clear?
it sure did. It's powerful too, whether it's in person or virtual.
And just one thing about the didgeridoo, for those that are not familiar with it, playing with circular breathing, I'm sure everybody noticed there was no gaps in the sound. And when most wind instrument players are playing your trumpet or a flute or saxophone, whatever, there's always when they pause breath-wise, there's this little pause in the sound. Where I'm playing the didgeridoo with circular breathing, meaning that even when I take an inhalation, there's still a stream of air that is being squeezed out of the cheeks. So there's an uninterrupted sound, and the uninterrupted sound is a reflection of the endless nature of eternity. So it's waking up the universal connection. It to be the oldest instrument, on the planet, or certainly one of the oldest instruments, Of course, it seems to run neck and neck with the drum sometimes, because they say that of the didgeridoo and then they say that of the drum. And they really work amazingly together, playing the didgeridoo with the drum. They just are so married and so at one.
Yeah, it's powerful. I recall being at the Lionsgate sound therapy session, and it just being in the room, I recall as you were able to kind of make your way through the room, I could feel the energy and the vibrations and the healing from it, even when you were on the other side of the room. But then when you got closer to me, it magnified, like it took it up several more notches. But it was just like, no matter what part of the room you were in with the, the music, or I should say the sound, the healing, I could feel the energy. And I feel like it would be almost the equivalent of like moving up the scales of a musical chart, when you're going from do, re, mi, from the lower to the higher, I still felt the energy and the sound the entire time, no matter what part of the room you were in. But it just was a matter to me how it kind of was like, pushing the keys to my spirit, and what note that it was hitting, depending upon what distance you were from, me in regards to the location of the instrument. But it's a very, very powerful, profound healing modality. And I definitely feel every time I've heard it, I felt it, even to the point with the one that you used with just your mouth. I remember the first time you did that when we had a call, a personal call, I don't know, maybe a month or two ago. And you was like, close your eyes, and you did it. I'm like, yo, I felt like I astral projected. Like, I mean, I'm talking about no work up to it, no meditation, no kind of getting myself into the moment of mindfulness, any of that. Just straight from you starting to me closing my eyes and unplugging it, was out of there. I was like, wow, this is powerful. That's a powerful healing modality for sure.
And we're remembering things that we have known in ancient times. We're coming back home to ourselves and all of the different, musical. That's one thing about music You know, music is a universal language. I mean, we have our different genres of what we prefer in music, and yet, you know, it's a universal language. Just like laughter,
Yep.
you know, is a universal language. I mean, nobody laughs in English or laughs in German or you know,
Mhm.
or or
Yeah,
laughs
that's
in Swahili. You know, we
right.
it's a universal language, and it's, you know, that's like laughter. Everybody can relate to,
Hmm.
you know, and just like everybody can relate to music, you know, as a language. And then, of course, there's different levels of evolvement with different styles of music. Some styles of music is more evolved than
Hmm.
other styles because, you know, especially when music is presented with the intention to heal, you know,
Hmm.
it's a higher consciousness of musical resonance,
Yes.
you know, because it's given a purpose. It's not just about entertainment. Some music, you know, its role is just to entertain, and there's
Hmm.
nothing bad or wrong with that. It's just that's just a younger frequency if it's
Hmm.
just for entertainment, you know. But when it's to heal, which can also be to entertain at the same time that the healing takes place, but we're talking now about an elder frequency of musical sound, you know.
Hmm.
And you know, it's one of the grandest things that we have for alchemical transformation. You know, like sometimes a person can feel really bad and then they go out dancing and dance the night away, and then after all that dancing discover, wow, I feel really better now, you know,
Yes.
because the dancing, you know, is coming into rhythmic synchronicity, you know, with that music, you know. So then
Yes.
the you know, through dance we become an extension of music, especially if we know how to follow the rhythm.
Oh yeah. Yes. That
If we
part.
don't know how to follow we have some synergy, but it's kind of a jagged synergy that
Yeah.
if we're not rhythmic, you know, because
Yes.
sometimes the
Yes.
music's doing this and somebody's doing a whole nother something, you know.
Yeah,
And
but
not that that's bad or wrong. Everything has its right to be.
right.
But
Right.
again, you know, like when we're able to dance in synergy with the music, then that's like an elder version of prayer. You know,
Mm.
even there's something called "Sweat Your Prayers," a dance art where you literally, you know, the five rhythms they call it. You know, "Sweat Your Prayers," where you're literally dancing with prayer intention, and so there's a ecstatic dance. You know, do that where it's really a conscious expression of being in the dance.
Mm.
You know, and it's a beautiful thing, and again, it's all tied into music.
Mm. You know what? And as you said that, spirit kind of whispered something in my ear because this is a question that I have for other people, and I've had this conversation with a lot of different people. So everything that you're saying to me makes perfect sense, but I want to kind of use that as a metaphorical example as to how I can dive into the next question. So everything you said in regards to dancing and music and healing, I know that the significance of meditation is profound when it comes to healing. And I know that based off of my own personal experiences, and give great thanks to you for turning me on to the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, not to mention the work that you and Millie have done with myself and for myself and family members. But a lot of people struggle with getting their mind quiet enough to actually be able to do what they consider to be meditation. So to me, that would be the equivalent of someone who was dancing, but not necessarily in sync with the rhythm of the music. So
Okay.
how do you advise people who might have that challenge to be able to develop the habit or to develop the skill set or to develop the intention to be able to synchronize themselves with, you know, the isolation of self, the intentionality of self, and to catch the rhythm of the meditation?
Okay. Well, first of all, I'll just offer a couple of meditation mantra techniques that I feel are very simple. Like one of the most profound names of God is I am.
Mm.
Okay. And what's so powerful about I am is that it's a force of creation because
Mm.
whatever follows I am has got a tremendous amount of energy backing it.
Mm.
So, I am is the name that we share with the Most High in the family of life. So it's a really powerful something to meditate on. So you meditate where you're inhaling through the nostrils and you inhale, and you exhale. And Inhale, I. Exhale, am. And if I was to actually do it through the mouth, to kind of graphically put it there, because that you can do it through the mouth too. And then there's one other that I'm going to share after this that's specifically for the mouth, but I'm going to just do the I am through the mouth too. So it would be like this. Now you might be able to feel the energy of that. So it can be done, with just breathing through the nostrils and hearing in the mind's ear, on the inhale, the I, and in the mind's ear on the exhale, the am. So that's a really powerful one. And then another one is Iyaweya. This is one I was taught from within by the Most High. Iyaweya, and Iya is E-Y-A-H. And Weya is W-A-Y-A-H. And also in the middle of it, it has the name Yahweh, but it's a portal through eternity. See, Iya means from the beginningless beginning, and Weya means into the endless end. And this came through way back in 1989. I was living in Sedona, and a dear friend of mine had come to Sedona and hung out with me, and he was leaving after about 3 months. And so I was offering a blessing to him, and all of a sudden, we're like standing in my kitchen, and I never heard this before. And all of a sudden I just found myself going, so again, Iya is from the beginningless beginning, and Weya is into the endless end. So I'm going to do it one more time. And this time I want everyone to really keep your eyes locked on what I'm doing, to notice the breath as it moves through the mouth and see what you tap into at a feeling level with that. So here it is. Okay, so that's something that you can work with from a technique perspective. Now, in terms of, really becoming, establishing a relationship with meditation, first of all, go into it with an attitude of maximizing the minimum, a maximum appreciation for the minimal accomplishment. Okay, because many people say, "Oh, I tried to meditate and nothing happened." Well, maybe they felt 15 seconds of peace. That's not nothing. Even if they only felt 15 seconds of peace before the mind chatter jumped in there. So wisdom would be, let me elevate my appreciation for these 15 seconds of peace. I know it's so because for about 15 seconds, I felt real peaceful. Now, so then the mind comes in with the mind chatter, and the mind is like that. The intellect doesn't really want us to meditate because the human ego is fearful. If we start getting too advanced, that means its days are numbered. So it's so the ego is going to fight against our spiritual growth.
Look, that reminded me of what you taught me about being a man and how we what was it? I forgot how you broke it down for me. But in terms of like us being men and how I think it was like force or push out our love upon people, and then women being able to receive love.
Yeah, well, women are receptive. They're in the masters of receivership, and we're like electrical projectiles.
There you go. Yeah. So that maximize the minimum.
Yes. But now here's the thing about maximizing the minimum. So a really great analogy is when people see the glass either half empty or half full. Okay. So if one sees the glass as half full, now they're maximizing the minimum, because if you see the glass as half full, it's in the potential of filling. So when you maximize the minimum becomes the maximum. So when a person has this maximum appreciation for those 15 seconds of peace, then the next thing you know, that there's going to be an expansion of the length of time that peace is experienced. And it's a direct result of elevated appreciation. But now what many people do, maybe even most, they minimize the maximum. Like they completely downplay that 15 seconds of peace. See, and they got underneath that an all or nothing. See, if I didn't have all of the meditative mastery, I didn't have anything at all. See, all or nothing is a powerful statement of separation. You know, all or nothing stages a war between the all and the nothing. See, and all or nothing is also minimizing the maximum. That's seeing the glass as half empty. If you see the glass as half empty, it's in the potential of emptying, because when you minimize the maximum becomes the minimum. See, and that's what all or nothing does. It minimizes the maximum. But what if we were to flip it and cause the all or nothing to morph into all and nothing? See, now we're once again maximizing the minimum. See, all and nothing makes space for the all and the nothing to coexist together. See, and nothing gets a bad rap anyway, you know, because people think of nothing as, well, my needs didn't get met, I wasn't fulfilled, I'm dissatisfied. But when you look at what is the real essence of the nothing, see, does not the no thing create every something?
Yes, sir.
The something doesn't create the no thing. The no thing creates the something. Like here we are in a moment of somethingness. See, we're in somethingness because you're in your body over there, right? And I'm in my body over here. But was it not the no thingness of our formless mutual desire to circle in this way? We had a formless mutual desire and a formless mutual intention that we were going to meet in this moment of somethingness. But it was born out of a moment of no thingness, because you couldn't grab a handful of our, you know, intention and our desire, and you couldn't see our intention and desire with the physical eyes. Even though now we're in somethingness, I can see you with my physical eyes, you can see me with your physical eyes. You see, and so that's the power. Maximize the minimum, and then morph from all or nothing to all and nothing. All and nothing is the resonance of the oneness of the wholeness. It's the all-inclusive frequency. All or nothing is exclusiveness, where some exclusive focal point separates itself from the whole.
Listen, this is, I already know we're going to have to definitely do this again, because I can go all day one day. But listen, as you're speaking to me, I love just being a child of God, because I'm here having all these different internal like conversations with spirit. But I want to use another metaphor to hopefully give our listeners, the ones who might have a challenge with this thing of tapping into spirit or tapping into meditation, right? So I have the honor of having a friend who was a beautiful soul, beautiful spirit. I got to meet him the first time in March in Nigeria. His name is Mr. Adebayo, one of the most phenomenal clothing designers I've ever met. And he's actually blind, right? But he is one of the most brilliant artists I've ever seen. And his clothing is phenomenal. It's beautiful. But anywho, when I met him in person for the first time, we shook hands, and I'll never forget, he asked me the question. He said, Aurius, are you a basketball player? I said, yes, sir, I love basketball. He said, how tall are you? Are you about 6'2"? I said, yeah, I'm about 6'2" exactly. And I'm looking around the room. It's me, him, and maybe about 4 or 5 other people in the room. and I'm just blown away. Like, it blew my mind up. I know that he's legally blind. I know he can't see with his 2 eyes, but I know I'm shaking his hand, and this man is telling me things about myself that there's no other way he would have been able to know. So what I got from that moment is everything you just said about maximizing the minimum is what I feel like he's done with. He might not have his eyesight, but he's maximized his third eyesight. So how can
or his first eyesight?
I'm sorry, you're right. First eyesight. You said that
Well,
right.
you know, that eye is first before the 2 rather than third after the 2. And
Yes.
the Holy Scripture says the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. Not if therefore thine eye be 3. You know?
Listen.
So I mean, and, you know, third eye is a name. Most everybody calls it third eye. It's just a surface name.
Right.
When I called it third eye for years, and then when I started calling it first eye, my relationship with the use of that eye deepened and expanded. So I just offer that. And of course, when one sense goes, other senses become sharper. But we all have that inner knowing. You know, we don't have to be seeing anything with physical eyes in order to know things. You know, I remember, you know, I've been doing this work for a very long time. So long before we had options like this on video. And I used to do phone readings for people, you know, people that I never even met before. And even though I didn't even have a visual picture of them, I could offer information that was very accurate. But it's a matter of just knowing. See, this is natural to us. What's unnatural is not being able to do these things.
Yes.
You know, doing these things is natural because we come from the Most High. And there was one other thing I wanted to say about the meditation and maximizing the minimum. If a person is wanting to learn to meditate, one of the ways is to utilize the soul jump start. Just like a car jump starts another car when the battery's gone down. So let's say here's a person wanting to meditate. They could say, I am linking up the telepathic battery cables, my heart mind, to all of the heart minds of those that are master meditators. And I'm going to initiate the soul jump start. You know, and you look and say, oh my God, look at what a masterful meditator I am through that part of me. And look at how well I meditate through this part of me. So when you co-own the mastery of others who's doing something well that you want to do, then you do in fact experience the soul jump start. And also you bring your, like if a person is really celebrating others that are master meditators, you know, then they've come now into the experience of meditation. You know, because they are vicariously experiencing the mastery of meditation through those that they're witnessing. And this is also tying into the power of admiration. Like when a person is of genuine admiration, they don't have an ounce of jealousy. They don't have an ounce of envy. Like when a person goes to a concert and see their favorite artist, they can sing every word to every song. And for the space of the concert, they feel so elevated and so at one with that artist. But then they leave and it all falls away. Now, if they were to deliberately, by intention, maintain it, they could carry it forward. You see, because we have that ability to tap into the energetics of others. And that's what I was saying about admiration. When you really admire someone, this admiration. You're admiring. See, and so you're looking at this person and you feel as good for them having what it is that they have as you would feel for yourself if you had it. Because by osmosis, you are having it. And that's the admiring.
Man, listen.
Admiration. So that's another way of accelerating mastery. And then lastly, one could, like if they want to become a master meditator, they may think of some other thing that they do really well, and then superimpose that thing that they do really well over this new thing called meditation that they're just learning. And that's another way of jump starting the acceleration of that mastery. Yes, and then having fun. Be like, let your inner child lead the way when you're doing this, because when a child is learning to ride a bike or learning to walk and they fall down, they don't get pissed off and cuss the moment out or anything like that. They just keep going, and they don't even feel embarrassed a lot of times. Like a little kid learning to walk, little toddler, they fall down, they just get up and keep going, that kind of thing. And they don't judge themselves because they only were able to get in a couple of steps. They maximize the minimum. If I can get in 2 steps, next time I'm gonna get 4, or whatever, So
yes.
So yeah, and meditation is a wonderful thing because it's a way of entering into deep communion. Like, for example, it's been said often that prayer is when we are talking to God, whereas meditation is when we make space to listen to God.
Yes.
And also meditation is one of the ways that we become elevated into a high connection with our intuition. Because meditation is woven into intuition rather than intellect. And intellect's always trying to fight with intuition. Right. Intuition is really the elder, even though we live in a society that makes intellect king and queen. And so we've been trained away from our feelings thus far, therefore trained away from our intuition.
Yes.
So, just that's another thing, just being aware, okay, when I meditate, I'm making space for my intuition. So I'm going into meditation. Intuition, what would you like to say to me?
Yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah,
that's powerful. Like, and I love it because I know for a fact, like the channel and our listeners are gonna love this interview because I love it. And I'm gonna tell you one of the things you actually highlighted one of my biggest secrets, and I don't keep it a secret, but it is something that I've been doing for a long time. And the art of admiration. So I actually learned how to really take that to another level by reading the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And I remember in one of the later chapters, he talked about his counsel. And what he did is he took, I don't remember the number, let's just say 8 or 9 of his favorite people in the world and their gifts, their skills, their attributes, everything that they were. He took them and he would place them at a round table as if he was sitting at the table with them, almost like Jesus in the Last Supper per se. And then he would literally have his own internal like meditation where he would communicate with them just as you and I are. And then he said he was able to extract some of the skills and some of the gifts that they had and bring them to his psyche and to be able to manipulate the energy and the information and intuition to then perform at the level that they did in certain aspects of their beingness.
That's how it works.
And that's what I works. Yes.
Because you're cellular co-creator of all that is created. Like every one of those beings that was sitting around those tables, Napoleon Hill lived as a presence inside of each one of them, and each one of them lived as a presence inside of him. And so in truth, he was cellular co-expressor of every aspect of their mastery. You see, every creation is a co-creation with the whole of the universe. Because when I create on an individual level, when I've created my songs and my music, I can't separate myself from the universe. And every being in all existence lives in the universe. Right. So the universe co-creates with me. See, and so I own the mastery. When I see elevated beings that have went where I want to go, oh my God, look at how elevated I am through that part of me. Yes. I take it personal when I see elevation. Yeah. And I personalize it as my own. Mm-hmm. Now, when it comes to people, let's say whoever accumulated things, I don't try to covet the things that they have, but I do join with them in the elevated frequency that they feel about the things that they have. Yes, sir. See, I can totally join with them in that frequency.
Yes, sir.
See, and that's where the quickening comes in and the acceleration. And so that's our big lesson, is to live from oneness, which is the same as living from the center, rather than living from separation. Because when we live from separation, we live from the surface.
Yes.
And the surface, is just it's a very low frequency part of who we are.
Yes.
That's why if you go to the center of pain, or despair, you'll find pure light. Because
Yes.
pain and despair and fear and worry and hatred, those things can't live from the center. They have to live from the surface. Because the center is the real estate of God Almighty.
Yes, sir.
In the center is love and peace and wisdom and brotherhood and sisterhood and joy and bliss, and all of that.
Yeah.
So it's oneness. We take it personal when we see others doing amazing things. And then they will create this powerful acceleration of our own individual mastery.
Yes. Yeah. Nah, I love it, man. Listen, and I'm gonna tell you, like, I've been using that skill, or I should say, that skill or practice since like 2017. And two of my two heroes was Malcolm X, or are Malcolm X and Tupac. So I envision myself anytime I'm in front of a crowd, or I'm on a mic, or I'm on a stage, podcast, whatever. I'm envisioning the sheer laser sharp intellect of Malcolm. I'm envisioning the passion, the power, the strength, the poeticness of Pac. You know what I mean? It's like, and I'm able to channel into that stuff. And then now I'm like, yo, I got a council of elders such as yourself, where I'm channeling the energy that you have and the ability to see the best in others and to be able to love others unconditionally as if I'm loving myself, and to love God. And like, it's like, yo, this is powerful. Like,
See, that's like admiration is a very close relative to gratitude.
Yes.
Now, when you see another person doing really well and you admire them, and you feel gratitude about where they went, the universe doesn't distinguish what you're feeling grateful about.
Yeah.
See, the universe doesn't say, oh, he was feeling grateful for this person over here, or he was feeling grateful for himself. There's no distinction. Gratitude is going to necessitate a reward no matter who you were grateful for.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then so it's a beautiful thing, and it's something to come home to. So I just, I thank you for this, this opportunity and this moment. And I thank all of you beloveds, who are tuned in, for remembering who you are. Thank you for loving yourself. Thank you for knowing that you make a monumental difference in the expansion of life and the universe, that life is better by virtue of you. And thank you for knowing that you are an unduplicatable blessing unto Creator Source, that God Almighty gets something from you that God Almighty can only get from you. And thank you for tuning in and taking to heart these principles that we've shared, and those that you resonate with and can personalize, then take them and fly with them. And I love who you are.
Ashe, listen. I'm not even gonna try to follow up after that, man. All I'm gonna say is I give great thanks, much peace, much blessings, much ire, and gratitude for you, taking the time out of your schedule, excuse me, to just share your light, and share your love and your energy and your power and your ashe, with our community. I know it's going to be greatly felt, and I look forward to being able to do it again. This was phenomenal, as I knew it would be. But I can't wait to share it with the rest of the family, so they can kind of soak in and they can kind of admire some of this power, brilliance, and artistic healing, that you do so wisely possess, but also give, without any conditions. And I give thanks, for who you are, what you are, where you are, and everything that you do, and for taking the time to do what you do with us today. I definitely give a huge thanks, and I appreciate you. I do.
Okay. And I'd love to let people know how they can reach me.
Absolutely.
Astarius.com, Astarius.com. That's my website. I have a couple of books and a great number of musical albums there, and I'm available for intuitive astrological readings, quantum ascension coaching, and healing transmissions with didgeridoo, vocal harmonics, and Reiki. And also Astarius Miraculii on YouTube, and Astarius.Miraculii on Instagram, and Astarius.Miraculii on Facebook. So if you feel drawn to experience some individual work with me, we can do it wherever you are. It doesn't matter. If you're local, we can do it local, but it's also, I work with people from all over the world. And so that's my information. Again, that's Astarius at Astarius.com, ASTARIUS.com. I love you with the passion of heaven. And every day, look at yourself in the mirror, love on yourself, put your arms around yourself, and then pinch yourself on all 4 cheeks, top and bottom. That's a sweet cheekaboo for you. I know you played peekaboo before, but cheekaboo is a different kind of fun. So cheekaboo under you.
I say, I love it. I love it. I love it, man. It was phenomenal, man. I definitely appreciate it. And I will most certainly look forward to, getting back in touch with you and making it happen again. And I'll definitely have everything laid out in the description for the show as well. So I'll have all your socials. I'll put your, all your information. It'll be in the description so people can, connect with you directly. And then, and yeah, I love it, man. It was phenomenal, as I knew it would be. And I can't thank you enough for taking the time to come and share your light with the rest.
Well, you're welcome and infinitely worthy. And I have very much enjoyed being here and sharing, and very much appreciate the honor, to showcase the blessings that God has been kind enough to bestow upon me, and just to have the opportunity to pay me forward, and to pay my love forward, and pay my peace forward, and, my creativity forward. So, yeah, that's me.
I say, yes, sir. Yeah, and for those on the way out, phenomenal. If you're in the Florida area, trust me, you won't be disappointed with the sessions, because I had a powerful one, man, and I didn't want to talk to nobody for a while. I came back to earth because I was just so immersed in the energy of the universe. It was phenomenal. So I'm still feeling it, as you politely and pleasantly warned me that I would be. So I give thanks for that too. So
beautiful.
Yeah. So I appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of the African Spirituality Experience. I'm your host, Aurius Bemi. On behalf of our miraculous guest, Mr. Baba Astarius Miraculii, y'all check him out. Check out his work. He's phenomenal. And I look forward to doing it again. But please do what we do, which is hit the like, share, and subscribe button. And we will see y'all on the next episode. We out. Peace.
Tẹ́ntẹ́ni takisa ní tàtàn ò bá padà sílé anítìjàkọ ẹja lọ pé eégún mo ṣe nígbẹ́rẹ́ ìpàkọ́. Forsake not your ancestors and praise your